Hi there, I'm Kira. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. This is your weekly tarot card reading for August, the 17th through to the 23rd. So we're into the third week of the month. Alright, I'm just shuffling the cards and I'm going to draw 3 cards to have a look at what I think will be coming up this week. So this is sort of an intuitive look at what energy the universe is sort of indicating will be significant for us throughout this week. And so what I think of it is that, I draw 3 cards in that sort of early part of the week, middle and end of the week, as well as the combination of the 3 coming together. I've also got here a card that I have drawn as the helper card in the monthly reading. And I kind of intuitively pull these cards with the indicator that this is going to be the energy that will be quite dominant around your particular situations and life experience. And so that's how you can apply this reading to your individual needs. For those of you new, the helper card is a card that I kind of, it is a card whereby it's a lesson that you're learning throughout this month, something of significance for you. It also can indicate perhaps a person of importance or influence that brings some depth of meaning to your situation that again is important for this month. And here we've got the World card. And the World card basically embodies, I want to be in this world. I want to be in this world authentically with a sense of clarity and accomplishment and new beginnings. All right, so beginning of the week, we've drawn the King of Cups. And okay, well actually, before I say that, let's just have a look at these 3 cards. I like to look at the imagery of the cards as also an indicator. Sometimes you might notice that certain cards face each other, and that indicates that the energy is very strongly connected. There's an interplay or relationship between them. But these 3 cards that we've drawn, the King of Cups, the Judgment, and the 7 of Wands, are all looking towards forward, so towards you. And so pay attention to that. It's like there's the energy that will be around you, although that is the combination of all 3 cards. Each individual card really is wanting to indicate something very important about the situations that you're working with. Okay, King of Cups. So when you see this king, the king is, it's mastery of emotion. That balance, that wonderful balance when we achieve it of emotion with, real emotion, acknowledging, accepting, embracing our emotions, but with intellect, with that sense of being in balance. So not losing ourselves in our emotions or not losing our emotional expression, but experiencing emotion with intellect. So, the King of Cups, thrives on connecting with others and helping others and has a wonderful sense of social responsibility. And so being a king, being one of the court cards, this is either a part of your own personality that wants to shine in this particular situation and it's important to shine. Or it could also be somebody will come into your life who brings the embodiment of the particular energy of this card that is important for you. And in terms of a person coming into your life, this could represent somebody who is a more mature person, and has a little bit of that sort of it's a male figure, so that masculine energy, doesn't necessarily have to be a man though, who comes in, who's very kind and considerate, and who's very good about taking responsibility for his actions, and therefore is demonstrating that as a very important thing about this card. That person who uses diplomacy rather than force, who's very kind and caring. It would be the perfect doctor, a counselor that you really can relate well to, a nurse, a healthcare worker, could be a lawyer who's really kind and caring and compassionate. So that's the key though. It's a person who's kind and caring and compassionate. So when you see this card come up, and so as the first part of the week, Monday and Tuesday, sort of plays out for you in your particular situations, you might be asking yourself the questions around your ability to show and express care, compassion. You might be asking yourself questions like, how can I develop a greater sense of awareness around care and compassion, about my unconscious and my ability to connect with my emotions, to show compassion versus sympathy. And I think of that, a great example I always think of that is compassion is walking alongside somebody during and feeling their situation and pain, but not getting lost in it. It's like you're walking side by side, giving care and support, but you're still holding your own ground. So if you're having a fabulous day, that's okay. You still can have a fabulous day, and you hold on to that. At the same time, showing and demonstrating and being there with the person while they feel the difficulties and struggles that they are experiencing. Sympathy, on the other hand, is when perhaps we are. Somebody has an experience, they come to us, they come for some guidance or counselling or support, come for a cuppa, and they share their story or their situation, and it sort of hits a button with us in terms of something very similar, and we find ourselves going back into the emotional reaction or response that we had around our own situation. So we have sympathy because we feel the pain similar to their pain, but we're actually get a little bit lost in our own pain at the same time. So that's something of a difference. So the King of Cups is the master in the embodiment of emotion and empathy and being sort of psychically attuned and holding on to that sort of emotional balance with intellect. You'll also find that this card may also sometimes represent, how sometimes that you have those situations where somebody does something for you, but you kind of feel a little bit like, is there a bit of an emotional contract here around, they did this for you, and then therefore what will you do for them? So just be mindful of that, because that's perhaps the not so positive side of the King of Cups when he can show up. So all up though, supreme nurturer, and wonderful imagination. So use that in terms of your situation and the things that you're working with. If you really pay attention to that, particularly around how it relates to your authenticity and clarity in the world, you'll find that it will really bring about a very positive outcome to the things that you are engaging with, and how you can use that energy Monday and Tuesday. Okay, middle of the week, the Judgment card has come up. Okay, the Judgment card is a major arcana, and it's number 20, so it's a very, very direct card. It's about action. So here we've got this essence of, I always think of this card, I think of the words heed the call. Pay attention, heed the call. What is the message? What am I here to do? And so I think this relates very well. Of course, it's right previous to the World card. So the two of these together, I think, is quite significant in this middle of this week. So whatever you're working with, sort of Wednesday, Thursday, pay attention to, are you being asked to act, and how does that relate to your true nature, or to your true self, or your ability to stand up and really be who you want to be in this world? Are you being given an opportunity to really succeed in some way, but you just need to take action? It's a wonderful card for being positively self-assertive. It's a wonderful card around the sort of the universe coming together, where the time and action are in perfect, wonderful balance, as seen by this cross. And so when that sort of appears, it's like you really, if your action is done with good intent, you really can't go wrong. So see that as a very positive opportunity for you, particularly around the middle of the week. Okay, end of the week, you've now got the Seven of Wands. Now, remember, wands are about your passion, your energy, your enthusiasm, your optimism, fire, spirit, heart. And so here you've got this image of somebody who is battling other wands. And so, this is around that sort of that internal, external conflict that's not aggressive in nature, but it's the need to stand your ground around something. So this is a wonderful card if you need to actually stand up and sort of say what it is you believe in, or what it is that's important for you, or why you made the decisions you made in the workplace to go the direction. So let's say you're a middle manager and you're meeting with your senior managers or your directors, or you have to stand up and give a presentation about what's happened throughout the year and why you took the actions you did, and why you used the budget the way you did it. And it's great for that. And you might find that the others at the table, it's that debating or that interaction where they might ask questions, or they might challenge, or they might question. It's not aggressive, but you do need to be assertive. I think that this is a wonderful card, or represents a wonderful card of a lawyer and in some sort of court case where they really stand up, they're very strong, they're very self-assertive, they feel very empowered to stand up and speak their case, speak what they feel is what needs to be heard or said or about the situation. So that is really the embodiment of this card. Also, because the card represents the person standing up high, it's around also that depth of, you know, not necessarily the day-to-day challenges, but where the day-to-day challenges are really paying attention or pushing the button or highlighting something of greater depth, because this is a card of real depth. So it could be that internal struggle where you might be struggling a little bit between your actions and your values and beliefs. It could also be where you're wanting to put some more effort into something to really shine in terms of your clarity of purpose in the world. It might be that you realize that you want sort of more or a continued self-improvement on some level. You might find others have really want to replicate what you've done, and so that is seen as a bit of a challenge or competition, which can actually be a very positive thing, because you can use that to really, yeah, great, let them follow what you've done, because you're now moving on to do something even more dynamic. With this card, I guess that the key thing is you're taking a stand. It's important not to be defensive, not to be overreacting. That'll just create negative ripples, because this card isn't about that. This card is about positive self-assertiveness, empowerment, taking, the call to action, or the call for taking responsibility for your actions in a very positive, dynamic, empowered way. So that's how the end of the week will be, particularly over the weekend. And as I said, you'll find the energy, though, of all three cards will come together throughout the whole week. So I hope you find that really useful. Thanks very much for coming to joining me on my channel. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to have a private reading with me or just catch up, please go to my website, which is www.kirawoods.com. I'd love to hear from you. Please leave me like, share, subscribe, all that sort of wonderful stuff here on YouTube. And please come back in for my next reading next week. And if you haven't, check out my monthly reading. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.